We
All
live?
right, and we are live. So, hello everybody. My name is Kid, and this is Osir, and we are of High Vibes Up. So, happy Wacky Wednesday to all of you listeners. Thank you for popping on and being with us today. And we are welcoming back Jason Q, our World Secretary, our healer, Maria Bernardis, and then we have our special guest, Flat Earth Dave. So, welcome, you guys. Thank you for being here. It is an honor to have every single one of you back and for the first time. So, welcome.
Thank you. I always love how they introduce the flat earther as our special guest.
At least you don't ride the special bus like I do. Okay, so tonight is going to be amazing. We are all so excited about this. Look at Maria; she is just like
I am. I'm speeding.
So, I just want to let's just talk about the presentation tonight and your involvement. And, what we're presenting tonight is facts, not opinions, just facts. And it's what's being presented is not here to manipulate or to change your mind, but to let you decide what those facts speak to you. And I want to remind you that we are High Vibes Up. So, David and Jason, of course, and Maria love questions. So bring them on, and let's get started, shall we? Is that good? Did I forget anything?
I don't think that I don't believe that you forgot anything. Okay. So, welcome everybody. We have 114 people so far. So, if you guys could share, like, and subscribe so we can get more people on here, that would be wonderful. So,
everyone's excited.
Right.
They're like, we just can't. It's so hard to wait a whole week to see you guys again. So, where would you like to get started? Jay, do you want to introduce David, or David, do you want to just get started? How do you want to do this, Jay?
He can start.
I'll just jump in. You made the comment. It was you were excited for a whole week to have us back. It's because this topic affects everyone at their core level. I mean, there's things that you're into. Oh, that's cool, whatever. But flat Earth affects every single person at their base of their spine, in their soul. And once you see flat Earth, you can't unsee it, and it affects you every single day, of your life, and it never goes away. It's really a fascinating topic. So
it is really a fascinating topic because when I was first introduced to it, I'm like, wait, what is this type of information? But then I actually saw something that really stood out to me. So let's bring it on and bring the truth.
And for those of you that are new to this topic, we don't know everything about this Earth. This place is so confusing. There's things that we're just trying to figure out. But one thing, some flat earthers say there's a dome over us, and I believe there is a physical dome over us. But some people think it's an energetic dome. Some people think, different things. Some people think there's no dome. It's an endless plane. Some people think that there's rings around us. I might be one of those people. Some people think that there might be nothing else or other puddles. Those are opinions. Like you said, we're not going to give our opinions. But what we all agree on, no matter what flat Earth thing you're looking into, is that we're not a spinning ball flying through an infinite universe, because that's physically impossible. Right? Where the official story is that we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Could you imagine? You're falling over backwards, and that's making the sun appear to go down. Okay, faster than the speed of sound. That's insane. You're orbiting around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour. You're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour, and to make it worse, that entire system is moving sideways at 1.3, give or take, million miles per hour. Right? That there alone, that's the official story of the heliocentric model. Imagine you knew nothing about the Earth. You're brand new here. No one's told you anything. You go outside, you walk around, and I came up and said, hey, you're spinning, you're twirling, you're whirling, you're corkscrewing through space billions of miles a year. You would just throw me out. There's no way I could convince you of that. But that's what we're brought up on. And ingrained into us before we could even talk. You know, kids, you're a good parent, you probably got a solar system mobile over the kid's crib. And then they're watching Sesame Street and all of the books, Goodnight Moon, and everything is about space. And in school, they have globe in the front of the class. And the first one of the first worksheets kids bring home from school is the solar system, where the moon goes around and the earth goes around. And this is indoctrination at the core level. And then the next thing they teach them is about dinosaurs and how they were taken out with an asteroid. What does that do to a kid? You know, like, well, we could be taken out by an asteroid. So now they've got their attention. They've got them in this core of fear. And then everything else in their world is built around that. So when you come up to somebody and say, hey, Earth is flat, you are ripping the rug out from them so their feet go over their heads, right? And they're going to crash to the floor, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes having their ball taken away. And you get defensive. That's why this is such a heated topic with some people. They absolutely freak out because we've all been programmed. When you go up to somebody, I already know what they're going to say. They're going to go, well, what about ships over the horizon? What about Aristophanes, sticks and shadows? What about the sunset over the ocean? What about seasons? What about eclipses? You know, and, you know, how come no one's fallen off the edge? You know, all of these are pre-programmed responses, and all of them have great answers for the flat Earth. And some of them make absolutely no sense, like seasons on a ball Earth. Seasons prove the Earth is flat. Anybody else?
That's right.
Tell me more about that. Why do seasons prove the Earth is flat?
Glad you asked. Let me share my screen, and I'm gonna go into this in detail, and it won't take too long, and it'll make a lot of sense. So this is the app I developed to help people learn about flat Earth, because Google isn't going to help you. Google hides everything good about flat Earth. So first, the flat Earth is not a disk in space. We're like a pond, and the shoreline of our pond is Antarctica. So everything outside of the clock here is Antarctica. We live in the Antarctic basin. It is the container for the world's oceans, right? But when you're looking up into the sky is a clock. We call it the sky clock. And the sun is the hour hand. It goes around once every 24 hours. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. If I speed it up, you'll see that the sun is catching up to the moon. The sun will lap the moon once every 28 days. Do you know that there used to be 13 months of 28 days? And now there's 12 months of random days because they've hijacked our calendar. So you see that we have a new moon. Now we have a waxing crescent, and the sun is gaining. So 28 times around, and it repeats. So then we turn on the stars, and the stars are going just slightly faster than the sun. So right now, the sun is in this zodiac. Does anyone know the name of the zodiac we're in right now? Is that Taurus?
That's Taurus.
No, I thought that was Taurus. Whatever. It's in this zodiac. Next month, this one will catch up to it. It'll hang out here for a month. The following month, June and July, the Cancer it'll be in Cancer. So how does that affect the seasons? So the way it works is the seasons are the sun migrates in between the two tropics. The outer yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer, and the inner yellow line is the Tropic of dyslexic. Inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. The outer yellow line is the Tropic of Capricorn, right? The red line is the equator. So right now, the sun is in between, it's inside of the equator. So as we go around, I'm going to move the date forward to July. And so now we're in July, and you can see that the sun is basically over the Tropic of Cancer. That means the inner northern world, everything on the inside here is having their summer because the sun is closer. So when it's closer, it's higher in the sky. When it's farther away, it's lower in the sky. So we're having our summer, and you'll see as it comes around here, Miami gets really hot in July because the sun is directly over Miami, right? I'm up here in Connecticut. Connecticut's pretty warm. The sun's still pretty close, pretty direct angles. But these outer lands are having their winter at the same time. Australia, it's the dead of winter because when the sun goes by, it's all the way over here. It's farther away, lower in the sky. If I jump the sun forward to January, then we're having our winter and the outer lands, the outer southern lands are having their summer. Look, it's right over Australia. It's high in the sky. It's over there. But for us in the United States, it's way farther away and it's lower in the sky, right? The whole tilted thing makes no sense whatsoever in any way. So that's how seasons happen. And on a ball Earth, I was going to show you something else. Oh yeah, before I turn this off. So if I'm here in the Arctic, if I'm standing in here, the sun is arcing around me, right? It's making an arc around me. If I'm out here in the Antarctic, it's antarcing away from me. It's not going around me. It's antarcing. Antarctic, Arctic. It's talking about the sun.
It works.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So somebody else had a question really fast. How does darkness occur, and what is blocking the light in this model right here?
Very good, very good. So right now you see when the sun is closer to the dome, the light will actually wrap around the dome a little bit. It'll wrap around, and when it's inside, I'm going to show you a video in a second. When it's inside, when it's near over the Tropic of Cancer, the sun doesn't wrap around the dome when you have a bigger, darker period. But places in the inner north, the sun never gets far from them, like Alaska and Norway, and the sun never sets because the sun never gets far enough away from them. And there's 24-hour sun because it's the distance of the sun that causes night. So let me jump out of here and show you how the sun sets and why we see it set.
So that is why Alaska has 6 and 6. 6 months dark and 6 months light, right?
Yeah, they have the middle of the year, they have the sun up and sun down, but when it's over the Tropic of Cancer in June and July, the sun never sets. And then when it's all the way out over the Tropic of Capricorn, the sun never rises because it never gets close enough to the inner north. The problem is in December and January, the southern, the Antarctic should, if it's a ball, have the same light as the Arctic did in its summer. And there should be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, but there isn't. There's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. There's a couple of fake videos. We've even talked, we've been communicating with people on the Antarctic bases where they have these time lapse and we're watching the shadows go around. You watch the shadow go around and then it jumps 8 hours. They cut out 8 hours every single day. And the answers we got from them are ridiculous. They never show you a full time lapse of the sun going all the way around. There's no 24-hour sun simply because the earth is flat. So how does the sun set? So here is my flat earth kitchen. I'm doing an example here. This line is a string and it's level to the counter. I showed that it's level and I'm dragging my little lit up ball sun across the line. So this is the path of the sun. Here are as an obstacle. This could be a mountain. It could just be the cloud deck or the atmospheric deck of opacity, but the sun never goes below it. Now I'm going to show you the same thing from the camera that's on the other side of the counter that's looking up. So this is on the other side at the level of the flat earth, the flat counter, and the sun's going away, and watch, it sets behind this mountain or atmospheric deck. Clouds 30 miles away look like they're at eye level from you due to perspective. Look at this line. This is a level line. It looks like it's going straight down or almost straight down. Now I'm going to compare it to an actual sunset right here. This is an actual sunset. You would think that the sun's going to go below the horizon here, but look, it's getting eclipsed by this atmospheric deck of opacity. It looks exactly like this. Here it is again. Because the atmosphere gets really thick over here, even on the clearest of day. So here is a sun just going away, and I added these 3 clouds. They're all at the same level, but due to perspective, they look lower and lower. It looks like it was setting here. Now it's going to set behind this one, but this one merges with the horizon, so you can't see the sun anymore. It just looks like it's setting. It's just going away. Like if I had this and I had the sun and I just move the sun away, it looks like it's setting. Boom, it sets. And that's all due to perspective. Think about a day where there's a cloud deck. You have all the cumulus clouds sitting, you can see they're all sitting at that flat deck up there. The clouds over your head are directly over your head, but 20, 30 miles away, those clouds literally touch the water, just like this. They touch the water. Now, if I got a super zoom camera and zoomed in, I could open it up and I could see farther, and then I bring it farther away and it closes again. That's all it is. That cloud deck that's 10,000 feet in the air, 5,000 feet in the air, whatever it is, looks like it's at eye level, right? So that cloud deck is literally like this. And as the sun goes away, you see it set. But due to perspective, you see it go like this.
Interesting. One time I was looking at the sun and I actually saw clouds behind it.
That's impossible. What are you talking about?
Oh,
the sun in the clouds? Come on. That's ridiculous.
Sorry.
Do you want to know what's going on in here?
Yeah.
Me too. It ain't a heliocentric ball, that's for sure. Okay. I believe that the sun that we see is a reflection. Okay. It's a reflection, projection. It's not a hologram. It's literally a reflection through the dome. Here's a little experiment I did. We have this little model, and in person, this is amazing. There's this sun floating in the model, and I'm just moving my iPhone light above the dome.
Huh.
And there's a sun floating in there. Okay. And everyone sees the sun at a different position. It's crazy, right? So there's me with my phone, and the sun is in there. So I think that the real sun is within or outside of the firmament, and it's being projected. Just like when, Jason, when you were a kid and you had a magnifying glass and you were burning ants. Don't tell me you didn't do it. I know you did. Okay.
A couple of neighbors too.
Yeah. So you focus that light to a little point, and you would think about it, go get a magnifying glass when it's sunny, and it makes like a little sun. Then if you lift that up 6 inches, that it's gone. But that point of light is still there. It's just 6 inches off the ground. You can't see it. All right. Well, the sun is being projected into the sky, and we're all seeing it in a position relative to our relationship with the dome and how we see. Everyone sees the sun in a different position. If Jason and I were 50 yards apart, and we had in front of us was a giant mirror, upright mirror, and the sun was setting behind us. So we're both looking at the mirror and see the sun. And I sent one of you up to the mirror and I said, here, take that Sharpie and draw a circle right there. That's where I see the sun. Then you went over to Jason. You're going to draw a circle 50 yards away from my circle where he's going to see the sun. We all see the sun in a position relative to ourselves.
Interesting.
And the thing that made me realize that is like the first thing you would say is like, well, how can the sun be a reflection and it still have all that heat and energy and everything? So I was at a conference in Las Vegas, and I was sitting by the pool, 3:30 in the afternoon, and the sun was going down, but it was beating on the right side of my face, and it was friggin' hot. I was like, wow. And I was like, I'm going to be toasted. And I was like, I got to go to the other side of the pool so I can, get sun on the other side of my face. And the hotel was about 100 yards over, and it was a mirrored hotel, and the sun lined up with one of the mirrored windows perfectly. And it was reflecting now on the left side of my face. It looked like the same sun. So I closed my eyes and I said, if I didn't know which one was the real sun, could I feel the difference in the heat? And I could not feel the difference. It was equally as hot coming off of the reflection off of that window. What's that about? And it's because it's not heat. The sun, this is going to freak you out. I don't believe the sun's hot. Okay. The sun is sending electricity here. Okay. Just like when you turn the electricity on and you boil water in your little Keurig thing or whatever it is, right? It's sending electricity. That's how solar panels work. They collect electricity. They're not collecting photons. Okay. They're collecting electricity, right? We live in this electric world. This world is amazing. It's a free energy system where the sun is the cathode, the moon is the anode, the salt water carries the current, and the land is the salt bridge. And we are electrical beings. I don't believe we can live off of this earth. Okay. We can go up into the air for a little bit, but we can't go that high. I remember when I was a kid, they were doing some military was talking about some test flights, and some of the pilots that were going up to these high altitudes were saying that they're passing out. They could see through their eyelids. Crazy things were happening in their brains, and it's like, I don't think that we can be far away from this Earth plane.
Hmm.
So there was a question: how do you explain sunburn?
Sunburn?
It's the same thing as the magnifying glass. If it's being cast through the firmament, it's the same thing as if you're holding a magnifying glass, like you said,
It'll burn.
and it's going through and it's burning us.
Yeah. So
It's just on a grander scale.
so the sun is close and small and close on a flat Earth. That's, take a heat lamp, just a heat lamp, and hold it over your face. You'll get sunburn. Now move that heat lamp 93 million miles away. First, tell me, can you see it? And is it going to burn you? Okay. So I've never heard that question, but that question kind of leans right towards flat Earth, if you ask me, with a small local heat lamp.
How does someone wants to know, how does a meteorite get through the dome?
There are no meteorites. There are no
Interesting.
asteroids that have crashed into Earth. We've only seen we always see the dash cam in Siberia where this asteroid came in, and it came in like this. You never see them coming in straight down, because those asteroid craters that they show us, like the one in Arizona, they're perfect circles. That means it would have to hit at a 90-degree angle. Nothing comes in like this. It has to come in straight down. So what those are methane bubbles. Look, there's the Earth has gone through lots of different processes, and there's times where the ground gets liquefied, whether due to a plasma event or whatever, of earthquake, and a bubble comes up, and that is just the bubble crater. It's not from an impact. And then the meteor showers, if meteor showers were what they say they are, you're standing on the Earth, let's say you're standing here, you should be able to see meteors coming up, coming across, coming down, coming this way. No one has ever seen a meteor shoot up from the horizon. They only go down. Okay. I think meteors are electrical in nature. The dome is the positive, the ground is the negative, and all of this, voltage in the air. That has something to do with it. I can't explain it, but we should see meteors going up. We never have, and no one's ever seen an asteroid hit the Earth.
Yeah. I saw one question. You guys need to bring in Santos. Oh, yeah. Santos.
I second the
Bonacci.
motion.
Yeah.
Santos is the
God.
man.
Yeah, bring him in, and I'll tell you what. That man can tell me that the sun's it's not gonna rise tomorrow. I'll stay in bed.
Yeah.
He knows so much. I mean, he is beyond.
Santos is taking it to the next
knowledge.
level. I think
God.
I remember when he wasn't a flat earther, and then he saw it immediately. He changed. He's like, he just added it, and it fit in with everything that he'd done before.
And he figured it out.
Yeah.
And he put it in with the whole scheme. And it's like,
yeah, it's crazy.
So someone suggested that we get Santos on the show. Is that what you were saying?
yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah, Santos will come on. I think he would.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Just
if
got to
you
reach
get
out to him.
Santos on,
Yeah,
tell you what,
let's do it.
Santos.
we'd at least have 10.
But here's the thing: I don't recommend Santos for somebody hearing about flat Earth for the first time. You need some of the basics. I'm bringing in some of the basics, and then once you go there, I watched this video this morning about the actual magnetic and electrical construct of the Earth. This guy blew my mind. All right. But it's like we're inside this toroidal field on a flat plane. So what is this Earth? We're figuring that out now. It's not a spinning ball flying through an infinite atmosphere. I'll share the link with you when we're done. It's something you want to watch, because you'll watch this and go, all right, I don't know anything.
Yeah. I was watching last night when you mentioned the rings, Dave, about the rings and everything. I'm like, sold.
Yeah.
When he's, I'm like, the whole Lord of the Rings, and I mean, because he takes the linguistics to a new level.
Yeah.
Because how they've got us in language. That's how they got us.
So for those of you that haven't seen this, so if we live here in this puddle, and this is Antarctica, this ring. So we're in the inner space. This would be the outer space, and look, there's extra territory out here. So I would call that extra terra in the outer space. So if somebody lived there and came to visit us, what would you call them, and where are they coming from? Extraterrestrials from outer space.
See?
Right? Antarctica, Arctic, Antarctic, right? They're telling us airplane, right? Flies over the Earth plane, right? Not air globe, sea level, not sea curve, right? And then, you know what's funny is I love going on a show with a Glober and they have their Zoom and they go with this, which you can't delete from Zoom, right?
Yes.
This is a cartoon world. Okay. This is a cartoon. And this is what I show up with, a video of the flat, non-rotating Earth. Okay.
So somebody wanted to know, what is the Arctic walls then? What are they made of? And were the extraterrestrials the one that built them?
We're again, the entire series Game of Thrones was all geared towards one sentence. It's when the little guy was on the wall and goes, I want to piss off the end of the world, right? Everybody remembers that if you watch Game of Thrones. And so it makes you think of this ice wall, but it's not an ice wall. It's literally just the shoreline of the world pond. So people say, show me a picture of this ice wall. Well, that's a person that has done zero effort, zero research. This is not what flat Earth is. This is the shoreline of the world. Antarctica, excuse me, Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It's the shoreline of our pond. Imagine a lake where the shoreline of the lake disappeared. What happens to the lake? It's gone. Okay. Bathtub's gone. Well, so's the water. You need a container for water. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. Now, the sun, as we looked on my app, the sun doesn't go farther out than the Tropic of Capricorn. So it never gets far. So it's frozen out here. In here, the sun is in between the tropics. That's why they call it the tropics. The sun's never far away. So in the north, the height of our summer is June 21st, but July and August are actually hotter. Okay. And the reason for that is because the sun has thermal energy and it's heating up the earth. It's heating it up. So come by June 21st, it's still heating up the earth. Now it's going away. It's still heating the earth. It's still adding more positive heat to it. And then by August, it's like, okay, now I'm far enough away and it's going to start cooling off. So it's a little like a delayed reaction in the heating. But Antarctica never melts because the sun never gets closer than this to Antarctica. So here is just the shoreline of Antarctica. Antarctica is likely bigger than all of the oceans and all of the continents combined. Perhaps all of this is Antarctica and might not be for thousands of miles or tens of thousands of miles or not. Maybe there's nothing else. Maybe there's another pond out there with another sun, a whole nother world. Maybe there's 100 of them, or this Japanese map that was found in 1901, I think. And it was printed in a Hawaiian newspaper with all these other continents outside of Antarctica. So I want to show you one thing. This is the shortest path to fly from Santiago to Australia. That would be the shortest path. Okay. But it's never done. Okay. So here is a Buenos Aires to Perth, shortest route. You're not allowed to fly over Antarctica, so you kind of go around, right? Go around that way. This is the actual path that they take. They go from Buenos Aires to either Miami or Houston. Then they stop in California. Then they stop in Sydney. Then they fly over here. It takes 26 hours or something like that. Or they go this way, Europe, Singapore, and Perth. That's crazy. So people say, well, that's because they need to stop for fuel, other passengers, but there's plenty of people that want to go direct. There's actually the worst flight is Santiago to Sydney, and there is a direct flight. There's only one airline that has one model of an airplane that does that, and it's a Qantas, and there's only like a handful of military pilots that are allowed to fly that, and it varies in its times by sometimes it's 5 hours late, like why is it 5 hours late? What's going on? And the reason is because they're using different wind currents and stuff, but it's a much longer flight, and these planes fly faster than they tell you. You think a plane goes 550 miles an hour. Well, these planes might be going 700 miles an hour. And then they get up into the jet stream, get a 200 mile an hour tailwind. Now they're going 900 miles an hour, and the times make perfect sense going like this. So Max Egan, if you guys know who he is, great researcher, hated flat Earth, hated it. He just thought it was the dumbest crap ever. And he said, I'm taking that flight. Why don't you guys track me? And we're like, let's do a live stream. When you get to the airport, you can log in, prove that you're getting on the plane. We'll track it with flight software. And then when you land, you can log back into the live stream. And we didn't, we kept the live stream straight so no one could say that we did anything. And what he did is he did compass readings on the way. And if the Earth was a globe, he should have been going south and coming around to Australia, and then a little bit of northwest to get there at the end after it comes up. But that's not what happened. That's not what he saw when he did it. He had all of these readings, and we charted his reading. We said, okay, here's the path that he would take on a flat Earth, and all of these green lines are northwest. This purple line here, this one line right here, that's the only time he'd be going west. And then these yellow lines are southwest, 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 and then kind of south. South is every direction away from the center. And so we plotted them out on this, and it made perfect sense. It made no sense on a ball Earth. It made perfect sense on a flat Earth, right? So the compass always has to point towards the center.
Wow.
And his compass readings made perfect sense on a flat Earth.
I don't retain all the information, but I remember reading that planes do not use fuel. Is this true?
Well, you can't just say planes, because small planes, small jets, they all use fuel.
No, I meant like big
jumbo airliners. There is so much evidence that planes don't use any fuel, or maybe just a little bit of fuel. Next time you're on an airplane, if we ever get on an airplane again in this crazy world, listen with your ears, and you're going to hear an electric engine.
Mm-hmm.
It's electric. There's no combustion going on.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
what I thought.
It's an electric engine. And I remember when I was a kid, the military was talking about they're doing a ramjet. You ever hear of a ramjet? It's a plane. They say when it gets up into the upper atmosphere and gets to a certain speed, the air going into it is coming in so fast that they can combust the air and use it, and it doesn't use any fuel. And then all of a sudden that story disappeared, right? So I don't know if they're combusting air. I don't think they're combusting air. I think it's electricity. There's electricity in the air. A meter off the ground is 100 volts. 2 meters off the ground is 200 volts, and it goes up from there, okay? There's so much voltage in the air. All you have to do is know how to harness it, and Tesla knew how to harness it.
Yeah.
He powered the world's fairs.
The whole magnetism.
In fact, there's enough energy in 1 square cubic centimeter of atmosphere that it could power your whole house for an entire year.
So
Yeah.
the lies are layers upon layers upon layers
Yes.
of lies.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, an airplane is all aluminum, right? Where are you putting this much fuel? And they say they're fueling up the wings. If you put that much fuel in a wing, they're going to snap.
The amount of fuel, it's think of a tanker of gas, one of the medium-sized, gas tanker trucks. On a Boeing 380, you'd have to put like 18 of those trucks on each wing. So 36 of those trucks. Are you kidding me? Right?
Okay.
Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. Okay. And and go to the airport, when a plane comes in and it has an empty tank, well, you ever fill up a swimming pool, how long it takes? They hook the thing up to the tank for like 5 minutes. I'm like, that water has to be coming out of there at 1,000,000 miles an hour to fill that thing up. And then you never even smell fuel. Like when you're in a tropical, airport, when I was down in the Dominican Republic, I'm out, we're outside. I watched the plane come in from New York. They never hooked a fuel truck up to it. And you don't smell any gas, and there's no gas leaks. There's no oil stains on the loading areas. There's a big problem. If you're filling up that tank, you're blowing all of that empty air out of the tank, right? So where's that fumes going? Where is that going? You never smell fuel. Right? Where are the tanker trucks? Right? Where are the line of trucks going into the airport? There should be an endless convoy of trucks going to the airport.
They're always
Also,
very small cars with very small, because I used to sort of fly every single day with my work in Australia, and it was always small. And I was like, but that's not enough to fuel this plane, and we're going all the way to Perth. So what you're saying is correct.
Yeah. There's
Dave,
Sorry, Jason, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
oh no, it's okay. And also when you think about it, when the airlines started increasing their fares, why did they increase them? Because fuel is going up, right?
Yeah.
If they don't use fuel, what were they doing?
Yep.
They were just using it to check up profits, so they they appease their shareholders.
right.
They're ripping us all off.
There's been many times where I've been on a flight where there's only like a half a dozen people, 2 dozen people on the flight, whatever. And we're going like to Puerto Rico or whatever. I'm like, they're losing so much money. You know, the amount of fuel that they use. It's nonsense. It's all nonsense. Those videos are hard to find, but there's a website, stoplookthink.com, and then find the no jet fuel button or drop down menu. And there's some great videos there. If you think this is crazy, you know, just watch those videos. Watch the first video on that page and you'll be done. You'll know. Now, again, small jets, private jets, I don't know what the deal is with the modern ones, but there is fuel going into jets. I've seen jets being fueled up, right? But the technology has changed. These big jetliners are definitely not using fuel. And I think that the way they levitate is not because of the air pressure going over the wing. I think it's a whole another thing. Have you seen those giant like triple decker planes that hold like 1,200 people? Or they're crazy. I was at Kennedy Airport, and these things are gigantic, and then they just float up into the sky. They float like what is going on here?
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. And when they use the fuel, it's just on the ground in order to gain that much thrust to get up to speed.
Maybe.
To shoot up in the air, and then once they get up above a certain altitude, then that would kick in the electric motors and all that, and then there you go.
Yeah.
Because if you lose one motor, say the engines, you've seen engines like they just catch fire. Well, wouldn't that go through the fuel line and blow up the whole thing?
Right.
I mean, it's little things like that it makes you really think that. I mean, if there's one lie, they're all lying to you.
Yeah.
When you can pinpoint every single lie, it's like.
So I want to talk about how do they keep this secret? Like people can fly over the world. Can't they figure it out? Well, all of the radar, all of the GPS, all of the long distance flight plans are run by NASA, right? And you guys are aware that NASA might not be honest. Okay.
Well, David, I actually found conflicting information in NASA's documents, because I actually found one document that actually said the truth. And it was this NASA.
That's it. 1207, 1988.
There you
Yeah.
Derivation.
Yeah.
That's from the Ames from California, for Edwards Air Force Base in California.
Yeah, that's it. And you may want to read the line there, since you have it in front of you, but they were actually telling us the truth.
Yep.
That the Earth is a flat, non-rotating plane.
Exactly.
NASA says it.
Flat.
The FAA says it. CIA documents say it. All of these disclosed documents, flat, non-rotating plane.
Yeah.
On my app, I have a montage of all of the documents being read. Flat, non-rotating plane. It's amazing. So flights in the north, in the inner north, are very similar on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. It's the southern flights that matter. So here's a flight from Taiwan to Los Angeles. And here's Hawaii. All right. So let me ask you, there was a medical emergency. Someone's having a heart attack or a baby or something, and they had to land. Where would you land? Hawaii or possibly go here, Instead, they went all the way up to Alaska. So we look at that on a flat Earth map. Taiwan, emergency, Alaska.
look at
Hawaii's
that.
all the way out here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So these flights from Australia to the United States prove, or from Taiwan, from these southern, these places out here, they just prove that the Earth is not a spinning ball whatsoever. And so these accidents happen. They get reported in the news. Then we have people that document them. This book, 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth, they documented 16 landings that made 0 sense, less than 0, sense on a globe Earth, but they all made perfect sense on a flat Earth. They have them all documented, mapped out, shows you what they look like on a flat Earth. You're in one place, you're going from, I don't know, New York to Moscow or whatever, and there was an emergency and they landed like crazy places. Makes no sense on a ball. None. Makes perfect sense on a flat Earth.
So you know how they're always delivering us truth in movies?
Truth in movies, lies in the news.
I was watching Captain Marvel, and someone says, so, have you ever been to C-53, which is Earth? Oh, yeah, I hear it's a real shithole.
There's so much lying. I mean, it's such a deception. So I want to get the person that asked, how does the sun set? Because that was the sun setting is what really got me. And that's what I really got good at because I'm figuring it out. So I want to show you that we can't see forever and light can't travel forever. Now, light bouncing off you see me because there's light bouncing off of me. If I turned off all of the lights, you wouldn't be able to see me. You're seeing the light that's bouncing off of me, but I'm not as bright as the light that's bouncing off, that's lighting me up. So the sun is the brightest light in the sky. Okay. But anything that the sun is lighting up, that's reflected sunlight. That's less bright. So here's a spot in Alouge, France, where it looks out over the ocean. And Mount Canigou is out here, but you can't see it. It's 175 miles away. And the top of Mount Canigou should be a mile below the horizon if the Earth is a ball. Okay. But on 2 days a year, when the sun's in its migratory path in between the tropics, the sun lines up with the viewer and the mountain. And even though the light that's bouncing off the mountain can't push through the soup of the atmosphere, if it was above the horizon, on these days, the sun, when it backlights the mountain, all of a sudden you can see the mountain, right? And the very top of this mountain, where the mouse is, should be a mile below the curvature, but it's not. It's right there. And then people say, well, it's refraction. No, it's not. I mean, it's going to totally block out the sun. It'll silhouette the sun because the sun is just going beyond and setting beyond. Right?
That makes sense.
It's right there. It's visible. We can see too far. Earth is flat. You can't have high pressure next to no pressure. Game over. And just one quick thing. I don't think I showed this when I was with you, Jason, the other day. They were on the space shuttle and they got a new delivery of food and it had some fresh fruit, which I don't always have fresh fruit. They were playing with the lemon, and the lemon's not real. It's a augmented reality. It's CGI. They're seeing it, and the guy, it's just the CGI screwed up, and his hand went right through it. It's not a real lemon. It's not a real object. They're manipulating things just like I've got a ball here and I got a banana. I'm peeling it, right? It's not real.
Well, like they say, when Nestle hands you lemons.
What do they say?
Yeah.
I don't know. You can finish it however you want. I mean, it's your life.
Right. So people don't realize the technology, how easy it is. People say, well, what about the unedited tour of the space station, right? Where they have one guy touring and another guy following with a camera. Okay. One, it's edited beyond belief, but the way they do it is if I was hanging from a harness right now where I could rotate, I can do flips in different directions. So I'm here, I'm in the space station. And if I grab something, instead of pulling myself through the space station, I can pull the space station through me. And you would never know the difference, right? So someone's filming me and I make like I want to go down that hallway. I pull the space station towards me and the whole space station, CGI, green screen, just moves towards me. So I'm still hanging from the same harness. So I can go up. I go this way. Now I'm going up a hallway. I can go this way. Now I'm going that way. I can go down. I can flip myself upside down. I can do all of these things and never move. But it'll look like I'm moving because I'm moving my background around me.
So a question came in. They want to understand how the flat Earth has deep oceans.
Okay, so the Earth is not a piece of paper, right? The Earth has mountains up to 14, 15,000 feet. How high is the highest mountain? Anybody know? I don't know the number off my head. High as Everest or whatever. And we have the deepest part of the ocean is like 6 miles. Okay, so with the size of the Earth, that's just like little bumps and hills. All right, we have bumps and hills. It's not a perfectly flat plane, but the deepest hole ever dug is just short of 8 miles. So the deepest we've ever gone is 8 miles, and the highest we've ever gone is, they're lying to us. I think it's the highest land on Earth is just the top of the highest mountain. Antarctica has the highest mountains on Earth. They don't tell you that in school. So,
So somebody else did have a question about like the northern lights, since we were talking about the lights and the reflection. So what are the northern lights? And
the northern lights are there's energy, again, lots of energy, electricity coming in, ions. And in the north, I believe that there's a toroidal field coming out of the north. So whatever those interactions with ions are there, it makes these very cool looking lights. If you look at stars, like this is the star Arcturus. Okay. What is that? That's the star Arcturus, right? Here, I'm sorry, that's Capella. This is Arcturus. Crazy, right? What is that? Our consumer optics have outgrown their lies. They can't hide it anymore. Okay. You cannot see a star 433 light years away. Polaris is 46 times bigger than our sun. Okay, I'll give them that. And our sun is this giant, crazy, compared to us, this giant ball. But when you move it, when you move the sun 93 million miles away, it becomes a little circle in the sky, like the size of a coin held at arm's length. Okay, if you move the sun 8 times farther away, there's no way you can see it. Scientifically, you can prove its angular size will be too small. That's a light hour. 8 times farther where you couldn't see the sun is a light hour. So Polaris, 46 times bigger. So we make that 46 light hours away, 2 light days, we'll call it. We'll round up. And you couldn't see it. We can prove that you couldn't see it at 2 light days. And they tell us it's 433 light years away. This is ridiculous. This is mind gravy, or turns your mind into gravy. I'm serving you mind gravy.
I like gravy.
Oh, we're all enjoying your food right now. There was also another question about the firmament.
Yes.
And the sky blue ice.
Oh yes. So in my app, if you click the frequently asked questions, the question mark, up comes what about Antarctica? I think that's where it is. If you click that, any of those buttons will bring up a playlist of videos about different things. So the Antarctic one, I got the sky ice video right there, second from the top, and you could watch that video. These are all videos that will be hidden from you on YouTube. You search YouTube, you're not going to find any of these. So again, on the app, every question you can ask: what about eclipses? Why the lie? What about gravity? It's all there. Tons of information, all sorts of other resources. But what I tell people is every day there's a featured video on the bottom left there. Click that featured video, watch it every day for 2 weeks, and you too will lose the respect of your family and friends because you'll be a flat earther.
So since we're on the topic of your app, there was somebody that asked you to share the QR code for your app, but also where can you find it?
The app can be found in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. You have to have an iPhone 6 or better, or a Android 8.0 or higher. It's by Blue Water Bay. They've already put up a Flat Earth Society funded app by the same name, which is horrible, and it will gatekeep your mind. Feel free to get it, but don't send me an email telling me my app sucks. My app is the highest rated app in the App Store. It's one of the highest. You couldn't have a higher rating, even with the trolls giving me 1 stars. They just can't beat all of the comments. The app's $3. It's so, like, if you drank a half of a beer and then never peed it away, you would have it forever. But my app, you have forever. Okay. So, just scan the QR code, or you can go to the if you can't, on Android phones, you search for it. Sometimes it doesn't show up in some places. So if you go to the flatearthpodcast.com and download it, you just click it from there, download it from there, and you will have a great time.
Do you have one for the computer?
It's not a computer-based app. There is an emulator called BlueStacks. Some people have had success with it. I have a Mac, and I didn't give it enough time to try to figure it out, but it's called bluestacks.com, and you can connect to the App Store there, and it emulates it on your computer. But it's more, I made this app for, like, I'd be talking to people in public. I'm like, I wish I could show you. So I made the app to have just myself, and I'd be like, oh, look, this is how it works. And everyone goes, oh, that's how it works. But then everyone said, where do I get that app? So I decided to do this. Then I decided to start. I did it for free, but then it started costing me a lot of money. This app costs thousands of dollars a month to run. Okay.
Oh.
And it's but it's worth it because everyone loves it. It's waking up thousands of people. I wish I could give it away for free, but if somebody wants to pick up the monthly bill, let me know, and then I'll give it away for free. Okay. And it also, one day I was in my own, we always get accused, get out of your mother's basement, get a job, you're stupid. I had my own company. I was doing super well. And I realized that, this world is in a crazy screwed up place. It's being stolen from us right now. And people are willfully giving it away because they don't know who they are. They don't know where they are. They don't know what they are. They don't know the power of their own mind. Okay. They're in a prison, and that's a globe, a prison for your mind. So I realized, if we ever get our freedom back, if we ever get a chance to take it back, how long can we keep power if we don't know who we are, if we're lost in space, spinning out of control, right? This is the most important message out there. I know there's child trafficking going on. We're losing our rights. They're stealing our freedom. Communism's coming. And it's all because we're all afraid little babies lost in space and don't know how significant we are, right? That's the problem. That's what's going on. We are at the center of creation. Nobody has power over us. Let's say everyone in the world, we all got on a big Zoom call, everyone in the world, and said, hey, screw the elite. We're going to not wear our masks. We're going to go to work. We're going to do what we want to do. We're not even going to pay our taxes. What could they do? They couldn't do anything. The only control they have over us is the power is in our minds. It's just like the only thing that's ever gone into space is our imagination. Well, the only power the elite have over us is in our minds. It's like money. What is $1 worth other than lighting a fire or snorting cocaine? It's worth nothing. Okay. What else can you do with $1? You can make an airplane out of it, I think. Right? It's just all in your mind. It's all mind control.
I mean, you could take a couple buildings down with one.
Yeah, with an airplane, probably a paper airplane could take down a building, a steel reinforced building. Sure. By the way, Stop, Look, Think. If you want to learn about 9/11, all of the stuff that's missing from YouTube on 9/11 is on stoplookthink.com.
So I want you guys, I want our viewers to really consider this. You're in a relationship and you get the evidence that your mate is mating with someone else. And when you approach them with this evidence, why is there lipstick on your collar? Why is there perfume? Why is there cologne? Why this? And they're like, oh, no. You're totally misunderstanding the whole situation. And so you go about your life and you're thinking, are they lying to me? Can I believe that they really, really would do this to me? And then you come to the place where you actually see it. You see them cheating on you. and there's no denying it. This is the war that we feel right now with the truth and the lies that they've given to us. It's no different than something that we experience in our life right now between each other.
Nobody likes admitting that they've been lied to. It's easier to lie to somebody than convince them they've been lied to. That's a fact. And then there's so much deception in this world. Who said the world is a stage? Does anybody know? Does anybody know?
Yeah,
No?
that was Shakespeare.
Shakespeare never existed. He's a made-up character. So the guy that said the world is a stage is a made-up guy. That's how much the world is a stage.
And Shakespeare's a Jew. God, does that? Oh, you know what? Yeah. Wait till the next couple shows. Not gonna like it.
Yeah. And David, one thing I always do is I always go back in history. So when someone says something to me, I always go back in history and ask myself, well, what did they think? What did they say? And, you know, I've done a lot of research on this sort of flat earth and come across quite a lot of books. And one, which I don't know if you guys know about, you probably do, it's called the Book of Earths.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes.
And if you go through that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a PDF copy so that we can give to everybody. Okay,
Wonderful.
so I'll give that to you guys.
Sure.
And what I'd like people to do, it's only 186 pages, so you can do it in one sort of evening sitting. But the amazing thing was there was so much in there about the flat earth from different countries, including ancient Greece and, you know, Babylon, the Babylonians and so on. And they've actually got, you know, beautiful graphics of their yes, and there's that one there, and you'll find a few others in this document. That's amazing, that picture. I can send you that one as well so you can give to everybody in a minute. And really, when I looked at this document in all, the evidence was overwhelming in terms of it being a flat earth. When you look at it, there was some that thought it was a square. Okay, there was some that thought it was a really sort of unusual whatever shape, but overall the flat earth was what prevailed. So this is a well-researched document with lots of references that people can go to read to find their own evidence to reassure themselves.
There's so much information because here's the problem is Crow 777 Radio says belief is the enemy of knowing. Because where do I live? Do you know where I live? Did I tell you?
On the flat earth.
Well, true. There you go. Well, I live in Connecticut. I live
I'm on
in
the
Connecticut.
square one.
I live in Connecticut. So you have two choices. One, believe me, and you're done. Then just go on. You know, and if someone asks you next week, where does Dave live? You can go, Connecticut. But you don't know that I live in Connecticut. You just believe it. Okay. Knowing takes time, effort, and energy. And I don't want to live in a world where I need to verify everything. But there's a lot of deception here. Like right here, I can see your faces. You're not wearing masks. I can sense every micro expressions on your faces. Anything you guys tell me, I'm going to believe right now. Okay. Yeah. Right. It's because I have this judgment. Right. But there's so much deception in this world. People just believe pseudoscience. Anything from astronomy, anything from, you know, NASA, it's all lies. Maybe they mix a little truth in there, but it's all lies. And people it's just easier to believe. You know, the whole moon mission's insanity.
Right.
It's insanity to believe that, but it's easier to believe than to know.
And it's funny because the Masonic one right by your shoulder, they're the main ones that are behind all of this. The Freemasons.
Right. There's so much, you know. I don't know if you guys know. I think I brought it up with Jason. Werner von Braun, who is the German Nazi that was brought over to run NASA. His gravestone had Psalms 19:1 on it. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. It's talking about the dome. Why does he have that on his grave? And the other thing funny about him is in 1957, he wrote a book called Project Mars about a group of people from Earth that went to Mars to start a colony. And the leader of that colony was named Elon. This is the rocket that Elon Musk wants to take people to Mars on. And a month ago, he tweeted he wants to redesign it and make it pointier. Okay?
Interesting.
It's insanity, is what it is. It's beyond interesting. It's mockery. I mean, they're pre-programmed. It's like Arthur C. Clarke wrote a story about a science fiction writer about satellites, and then all of a sudden we have satellites that work just like his book. The guy, there was a royal guy in the 1800s wrote a paper on the idea of dinosaurs. No one had ever discovered a dinosaur before him. You know, with all the pyramids, no one ever mentioned dinosaurs. He wrote the paper, and then coincidentally, a year later, to the day, he discovers the first dinosaur. I don't know what that date was, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was September 11th.
April 1st.
Yeah.
By the way, I have an answer why that scripture is on the tombstone.
Go ahead.
That's because those who lied to us forgot to remove it.
No, they have to tell the truth. It's in it's karmic law.
They
always have to tell us the truth.
And so that's another thing. People get really discouraged. They're like, I'm only one person. What difference does it make? I have to go to work tomorrow. Well, if I had that attitude, I'd have to go to work tomorrow, but I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. And life is really, we live in this magical world where your thoughts create reality. Think about that. Your thoughts create your reality. Everything you have in your life is because of the way you're thinking, right? You bring that into your life. So I have that's spacing on my point. My point was, they have to tell us what they're doing. All right. They can't break our free will. We're here. Our souls are in our body, which animate our life. And we have two rules. Don't break anyone else's free will and don't lose control of your soul. That's it. Right. So they're trying to trick us into giving our soul away. They're trying to beat us down with fear and mind programming to give up hope, give up our humanity. They're trying to take it all away from us right now. And the only reason they're doing it is because everyone's allowing it. Everyone's wearing masks as everybody's wearing masks. Okay. Because some guy, Dr. Fraudsy, told them to. Okay. People are not thinking because the mind control is so friggin' strong right now. And people need to stand up and take their lives back. But the problem is, I have not put a mask on. I go shopping without a mask. I found places where I can do it. Anyone that confronts me, I have different things I say. And, I've had run-ins with the police many times, but it's fine. I will not ever wear a mask, ever. Right? And if everyone had that attitude, this would be over tomorrow. Over tomorrow.
Just on that Freemasonry point, it was interesting. I actually pulled up and found a PDF copy of the Freemasonry original Bible. And if you look at their actual Bible, it actually talks about it being a dome. Yeah, which was really interesting. And then, of course, everybody's probably seen this, especially Jason. It's if you look at the layout, and I've actually sent you this picture. I mean, they're telling you in plain sight that it's a flat Earth.
That's right.
When you look at the way that they've arranged everything. So really, they are telling us the truth. It's there. But if you don't research, as Jason always says to us, if we don't research and we just look at what they're putting in front of us and you don't go behind and actually look at their books and look at what are they actually reading, that's where you see the truth. Right. And I encourage people to do research and type in Freemasonry Bible. It will come up and it's beautifully illustrated, and even the illustrations that they have are telling us that it's a flat Earth with sort of a dome. So it's a very interesting subject. So I hope we're giving people enough so that they can go and do their research, I guess, is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. So for those that missed the very beginning, we're here to present facts, not opinions, but facts, things that have been researched and looked at. And we're not here to manipulate. We're not here to convince. But with the facts, it gives you a choice on what you're going to do from right now moving forward. But let me encourage you to remember that if you are holding your ground with something that is opposite of what the facts show, then you really need to consider where you're standing and why you're standing in that place. Because where's the open mind? Again, I bring you back to the example that I gave about the cheating spouse, the cheating mate. Where is your open mind to see the truth? Now, we're high vibes up. So keep your questions coming. Our panel loves the questions, and keep the vibrations high. So back to you guys.
This is a flight, a long flight that was literally chasing the sun, and the sun just never set. It just stayed above the earth, and you could see that it's locally lighting the earth. And now, if you think where the plane is right now, if you drop straight down to the earth, you would not be able to see the sun's light at all, because it has to come sideways through all of that thick air and clouds. So it would be pitch black. We sent a balloon up. This was at, I think, about 80,000 feet. And it kind of got a picture of day and night side by side. So over here, the sun is, and it's day, because the sun's electricity is exciting all of the gases and fluorescing the nitrogen, which fluoresces blue. And then over here, it's pitch black. So it's day right next to night. So if you were down here on the ground, down here, it's pitch black. You can't see any of that light over here.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. And the video is even more interesting, because as it moves around, you can see the wedge of darkness coming in. And there's a certain time, I think it's in the spring here, where I'm in the Northeast, out on the water, and at sunset, it's forward, it's still daytime, and I turn around and it's nighttime behind me. It's crazy. It's like, I saw it, I'm like, it's nighttime, I could see stars, and over here the sky is blue. Like,
so David, is that the when you're flying and you pass the oh my god, I forgot the line, and it's like dark, and then the next minute it's total daylight, international dateline or whatever they call it.
The international dateline is just an imaginary line on the circle of the earth. There's time zones all the way around, so that's just where the date changes. It's there. The light only goes a certain distance, and it's, in the Northeast here in the summer especially, the sun will set and it's still light for another 90 minutes, right? It's light till 10 p.m., right? And that's because if you look on the app, the sun in the north is when it's in the Tropic of Cancer. So the sun's going around, it's close to us, so it's arcing away. It's not going away that fast. But when the sun moves out to the outer tropics, it's moving faster. It's making a bigger circle. So places like out here in Central Africa and in the middle of South America, when the sun sets, 5 minutes later, it's pitch black. And that's because the sun is running away faster, right? And we all see the sun through what I call our personal atmospheric dome. So here's a little example of what that looks like, if I could find it. And so what I have here is I have a dome on top of a white rug. So that's just the ice shelf. We got the dome. You're at the center of the dome, and the sun rises. I'm just moving a pen light straight across over the dome, and then it goes down, and it never goes below. You guys can't say. Hold on, I gotta stop sharing. Sorry. It never goes below. It just fades out. So here it comes back again. It appears on the horizon. It rises up. It goes across. And then it never goes below this horizon. It just stops and it fades out. So I had a drone, and I put it up on a super clear day, no humidity. It's like 32 degrees outside. And the sun, in 5 minutes time, I watched the sun go down, down, down. Now, if the earth was spinning, it would just keep on going, but it didn't do that. It went down, 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 down. And then it stopped and it just sat there. And this is sped up. This is over 10 minutes. It just sat there. It stopped going down. And then it just faded away into the thickness of the soup of the air.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I have seen that.
It faded away. It never sets. Now, my friends were at the beach and they saw the sunset from the bottom up 10 minutes earlier because they were looking out 10 miles away is more land and there's trees. The tops of those trees look like they're at eye level due to perspective, but the sun was above those trees and it just got cut off like that. It sets.
So I got a question. If I'm remembering correctly, Jason has a patent for the sun, which is
the sun simulator. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So where does that sit? Outside the dome? Inside
No.
the dome?
Inside.
Jason, do you believe that the sun that we see every day is the sun simulator?
I believe so. It's by Lockheed Martin.
Can't rule it out. I don't know.
And the thing is, with patents, every patent has to be proven. And if Lockheed Martin's behind it, that's Skunk Works. Yeah. The thing is that they're trying to prepare. Believing in a ball Earth is they're putting science in front of God, is what they're doing. It is that they're taking away God's creation, and making it all man-made. They're turning us into a bunch of Satanists. It's exactly what we're doing.
Don't disagree with that.
It's really sad because, I mean,
as Paul McCartney says, whether he's the real Paul McCartney or the fake Paul McCartney,
the dead one.
The fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning round.
Well, love this info. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, David. And I'm not saying we're closing. I'm just like appreciating you right now. So keep going.
Well, there was a question, oh dear, about the sun and the moon. Why is the moon showing up in the morning at sometimes?
Well, that makes sense on both models, although you can't live on a spinning ball. The position of the moon in the sky, when it's a less than half a moon, it's closer to the sun, so it's going to be near the sun. So when it's when there's a waning or waxing crescent, it's very close to the sun, right? And that makes perfect sense. What doesn't make perfect sense is when we can see a full moon in the day sky. That makes no sense. It should be opposing the moon, but occasionally, sometimes we do see that. And did you know, like in the far north, I think like Norway and probably northern Alaska, there's a 24-hour sun every month for a week. The sun doesn't set for a week every month. And that's because the moon is doing the same thing the sun does every 6 months, but it does it every 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
The moon and the sun oscillate in between the tropics. So the sun goes in and out, and so does the moon. And when it's on the inner track, the inner northern, it just never gets farther away from the inner northern places, and it goes around day and night and doesn't set every month.
Interesting. So is that also another reason why we see the moon to our left at some nights, and then suddenly it's to the right at the other?
That's because the moon takes the same path as the sun. It's just going slower. So when you see the moon, the sun setting, and you see the moon setting before it, well, now after that, it'll be in the night sky. And then, a couple weeks later, it'll be behind the sun. The sun laps the moon every 28 days. So the moon will be in a different position relative to the sun, every day throughout the month.
That's interesting. David, I don't remember the moon moving as I was growing up. Maybe I just didn't pay attention, but I always thought it was in the same place in the sky.
No, it rises and it sets. It rises in the east, sets in the west. They tell us that the earth is spinning and that we're going around the sun, but the moon is going around us in the opposite direction. But because we're spinning, it looks like it's going the same direction of the sun. That's nonsense. They're both just circling around. They're both just circling around over the Earth on their circuits. Here, let me show you. I don't normally show this, but and again, this isn't to scale and it isn't to speed. Here's the inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. The outer circle is the Tropic of Capricorn. The red line is the equator. Here's the moon oscillating in between, and here's the sun oscillating in between. Now, it's not going the right speed, but so this is the sun in July, right? Then it comes around, and only when they both hit a nodal point at the same time where they cross over, then there's an eclipse. Okay.
Okay, but what I've seen is I walked out. I walked out of the house, and off to the left was the moon.
Okay.
And then I walked out of the house a couple nights later, and the moon was off to the right.
Well, you walked out at a different time. You walked out at a different time. Like right now, if I go, I don't even have to. I can know to look for not to look for the moon right now because I'm here in Connecticut. You have to verify that though if you want to know for sure. And I'm here in Connecticut, and I know that the moon hasn't risen yet because it's all the way over here in India. Okay, so I know that in Connecticut, the sun and the moon will rise when it gets right around this 6 a.m. part. Okay, so I know that it's going to be a few hours before the moon rises. So if the moon was right here, I would know to look straight up for the moon. If the moon was over here, I'd know to look to the east for the moon. If the moon was over the other side, I'd know to look to the west for the moon. So the moon's going to rise for me in 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. It'll rise. There'll be a half of a waning moon. And then the next night it'll be an hour later. And then soon it'll be a new moon. If I speed this up, you'll watch the moon get smaller and smaller, and then in a couple days, it will there'll be a new moon. And by the way, all the people that have the app in 1, 2, 3, 4, in like 5, 6 days when there's a new moon, don't send me an email telling me your app's broken because there's no moon. Just wait 2 days; it will come back. Okay. So look at the position of the moon compared to the sun. So it changes every day, and it moves right through the sky. It's always moving through the sky from east to west. And east and west are circles. You have to remember that east and west are circles. Did we talk about that yet?
No.
East and west are circles. The north, so I got a magnet here. I got my compass. My needle's north is pointing to the magnet. I'm trying to push this dead west, 270 degrees. I got to keep turning. If I don't turn, I'm not heading west. West is a circle around the center. Same on a ball earth. If I try to go east, this is east right here, I have to keep turning. East is a circle because east is a circle around the magnetic center, right? Now, if I try to dead wreck in west and don't correct to the north, immediately I'm going south. Watch. Boom, I'm going south.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how our Earth works. That's why billions of people have circumnavigated east and west. Nobody has circumnavigated south. Okay. Nobody has ever done it. We've gone, let me find a map here. So billions of people have gone west around the world, have gone east around the world, right? And come right back to where you started from. You can even go north. Now I'm going south and I'm in Japan. Or I could leave California and go west and I'm in Japan. Or I could leave California and go east and go around. I'm going east and I'm in Japan. Again, north, south, even though I haven't changed direction. Nobody's gone south and popped up over here. Never been done because the Earth is flat.
So do the airline pilots, they know this lie?
Yes.
Most pilots know. I would say more than half of the pilots know. Others are just automaton bus drivers that just follow the GPS and don't really pay any attention. But we've talked to the Qantas pilots, and they all say they talk about it openly in their in the captain's lounge and amongst each other, but they can't talk about it publicly because they will be fired. We interviewed a KLM pilot on the show Globebusters, and she was telling us all sorts of stuff, you know, what she sees, how the gyros work, that the Earth is flat, non-rotating. And then the next day she was grounded. And then you know, we haven't heard from her, probably fired, maybe murdered. Who knows?
Yeah. Thank Freemasonry for that. That's all it is.
Yeah. The amount of insanity on this is crazy. Somebody tried to do a world record pole to pole circumnavigation. So it's called the ZQ pilot. North Pole, went to Alaska, California, out to Hawaii, down to these islands here, Santiago. Then they went to here, and then they turned around and came back. And they said, well, then when they got to the South Pole, the weather was too crazy and they had to turn around and come back. I'm like, all right, well, then you're not going to get the award. Well, guess what? They got the Guinness Book record for north pole to pole circumnavigation. Does that look like circumnavigation? Plot that on a flat Earth map. It looks like that. And they got the world record for southern circumnavigation. Mind control. People go, oh, somebody did it. That's the world record. Look, it's in the Guinness Book. Look at the information. Nobody has gone across Antarctica. Nobody's gone across Antarctica and popped up on the other side. Now, here's an easy proof the Earth is not a globe. Just take a boat and go around the shoreline of Antarctica. It's 13,000 miles. Okay. Well, Captain Cook is the last person that tried to do it. It took, I think he tried it 3 times. It took him 3.5 years. He went over 60,000 miles, and this was the course that he took. But this is it. He's not going around an island at the bottom of a ball. He went around the whole world. He did some exploring around New Zealand, but 60,000 miles. The equator is only 24,000 miles. So how could going around the bottom of the ball be bigger than the equator? Because the Earth is flat.
Wow.
That's just crazy.
Have you guys seen these planets? Jason, have you seen these new planets?
I have not.
They're actually the bottoms of frying pans.
Oh, nice.
Okay. That's why we haven't seen them.
But if NASA said they were planets, you'd believe them.
Yeah.
I mean, most people would, not you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
I never look at the bottom of the frying pan, though.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here's NASA training in their undersea pool with a green screen. And then this is what they show us on TV.
ta-da.
Ta-da.
And notice how it's always lit. They're never over the Earth when it's dark.
Yeah.
You know, it's always lit.
Think about, here's seeing too far. Look, this, you can't, like, mountain, they're getting lighter and lighter and lighter. There's another mountain out here, but you just can't see it because its light can't push through the air. We can't see that far. I showed you at Mount Canigou that in Illusion, France, we can't see 175 miles.
But
Light will not travel that far. Sunlight will push a little farther, but we can't see that far. It just becomes opaque. Here, I got a test question for you. Jason, you first.
But Dave, I mean, if it was a globe Earth, I mean, wouldn't those mountains be like, you know, like 5 or like 20 miles down? I mean, that's.
Yeah. All right. So is this a real photo or did I make this? Is this a Del Monte can of beans with the label removed and a soda can with tinfoil wrapped around it? Or is this the actual Hubble telescope falling around the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour? Take a guess.
It's got to be a chili can. Got to be a chili can.
Made up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is an official NASA photo of the Hubble telescope.
So what took the photo of the Hubble telescope then?
The shuttle, when they were on a repair mission.
Oh, okay.
So check this out. If you I used to love, I kind of still, I guess I still do. There's a lot of science shows, you know what bummed me out? You know those nature shows with David Attenborough, you know, where he's showing like the birds and the crazy stuff. Do you know that most of that stuff is fake? They're like faking these shots of some of this stuff. It's so fake once you realize it. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Now there are some real shows that do some real stuff. And I do love them. But I was watching a show on telescopes, and the giant telescopes that take these deep field pictures of distant galaxies, right? And they talk about these giant telescopes have to be on cement pads that are like 10 feet thick, because the vibration of just the technician walking by could vibrate the telescope and ruin the picture, right? Because the mirrors are so perfect, and just the slightest vibration could ruin the long exposure. Have you guys heard this? Or this is what
that
science
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, well, that makes perfect sense. They're forgetting one thing. While they're taking this deep exposure of something so far away, the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. Okay, right? What about those motions? And the Hubble has it worse. It's also falling around the Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. Okay. Right? That's insane. If you have a super zoom camera or a telescope, try focusing on something while you're rolling down the road in a car, just even on a straight road, just at a couple miles an hour. You can't do it. The slightest movement and you're gone, right? The Earth is spinning, twirling, it's corkscrewing through space, and they're worried about the vibration of a technician's footprint. This is nonsense. The reason telescopes on Earth work is because the Earth is not moving.
Right.
Period. End of story. That alone proves that we're not moving.
Wow.
I get a little passionate.
I don't blame you. I think it's great.
Well, you just fit right in, David.
Yeah. How about
Jason,
this?
you made a very good point. Oh, I beg your pardon.
Modern Mechanics magazine from 1931 proved the Earth is round. Win $5,000.
Wow. Wow.
Now, some people could say that was just a joke. It's like, whatever. In the early 1900s, everyone knew the Earth was flat. I interviewed this woman, Ruth, 102 years old, and she had such a great memory. She said in Connecticut public schools, they were teaching flat Earth in the 1920s. Yeah.
Wasn't it around 1958 that changed? Because if you look at sort of the Britannica and a lot of those encyclopedias,
the Encyclopedia
they seem to have
Americana.
changed.
Encyclopedia.
Yes, that's
1958.
Sorry, Jason.
Encyclopedia Americana said that at 80 degrees south, the firmament was at 13,000 feet or 13,000 feet, something like that.
13,000 feet. That's correct.
So they literally took flat Earth out of the school system. They started teaching heliocentrism. There was lots of controversy, lots of newspaper articles about teachers being persecuted for trying to teach the heliocentric, heresy. And this was in the early 1900s, right? 1940, people still knew. But the problem is, say Jason and I were hanging out in 1925 and we're like, yeah, Earth is flat. How are we going to tell anybody? What are we going to do? We're going to run down the road, knock on the door. Hey, the Earth is flat. I mean, we didn't have Twitter. There was no electricity. Okay.
Yeah.
So, people knew, but now the Industrial Revolution, people are starting to get more power and technologies coming out, and they had to hide it, because if everyone woke up tomorrow knowing the Earth is flat, the elite are finished. They're done. They lose their power. They lose their power when you figure out who you are and the power of your mind. It's amazing. We live in this amazing place, and they want us to think we're on a spinning speck flying through a godless nothing, right? And that you have no power. We have so much power, it's ridiculous. But two people together is 100 times more than one person alone, right? And one person alone is powerful. And then put everyone together. The Maharaji effect, is that what it's called? When everyone prays together and world peace happens. They've divided us up by countries, by religions, by sex, by culture, by race, by sports teams, by politics, and now they separating us. Don't touch each other. Don't look at each other. I was reading the rules for a pool. Yeah. As soon as you stop swimming, you have to put your mask on. Yeah, try to exhale underwater, and if you stop to rest, don't look at anybody. Are you frigging kidding me? Okay, they don't want us together, because if we get together now, there's a big awakening going on. People are awakening. Just look at what's going on in the world. But if you watch the news, they're not going to let you know people are waking up. if people got together in groups now, I think they'd be finished. That's why they're trying to keep us all apart.
Yep.
I concur.
Yeah.
Jason, what I wanted to say, you made a very good point, and I wanted you, maybe for the benefit of everybody else, just to expand on it, where they're trying to take God out in terms of when you look at a lot of, not just the Bible, you look at the Book of Enoch and the one that you referred everybody, the OSP. If you look at all of those, they all say the same story. And I thought maybe you might want to dwell on that just so people can have a little bit of evidence to go and research those texts.
Well, because in the OSP, what it is that they go over the 24,000 years of cosmogony. And what people don't understand is that when the Bible starts, it goes right into Genesis. They mention flat Earth a few times, and then all of a sudden it goes right to the story. Right to the story that's been perpetuated throughout time. They just change the names. It's over and over and over again. The next time we have a reset, we're gone, and next ones come up. They're on the same story over and over and over again. I mean, to really understand this is that we have to learn as a group of the true power that we do have. Is, remember, we were created in the image of our Creator. Not in so much the image, but we have the powers of our Creator. All of us do collectively.
Jason,
not just one of us, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, someone in the chat said, why I still don't get it, why the lie? And the lie is because they don't want us to know our true power. And again, there's so much information out there, but on my app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, if you click the question mark and then you click why the lie, there's a playlist of videos there that will blow your mind for anybody that wants to know what's going on. Why the lie? Up comes a list. Again, if you Google, search top 10 reasons the earth is flat, you're going to get top 10 reasons the earth is a globe. These videos here will literally make you cry. They'll make you see it. I said, what difference does it make? Right? It's not going to change my life. My life is so changed. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
I can't believe where I am right now. And it's all because of flat earth. Okay. So the why the lie is amazing. And then it's, I tell people, take the Flat Earth Challenge, watch the daily video every day. You can also hit the little archive button next to it, and that gives you all of the videos for the last 2 years. So that'll keep you going. But if you really want to jumpstart, you hit the web button, and then on the middle right, it says full-length videos. Hit that. These videos are fantastic. These are like feature-length videos. Grab some popcorn, hot chocolate, bring the wife and kids, sit down, watch these puppies. And, because you don't want to be a flat earther alone, and anybody that watches these will end up being a flat earther. So there you go. And again,
and there's nothing wrong with being a flat earther at all. There isn't. CIA is just another psyop.
I take it with pride. I mean, if you called me a globe earther, I'd be like, how dare you? How dare you?
That's like calling my mother a whore.
Right.
Don't say that. No. Who are you to say that? Ask Jesus. He will tell you he walked around earth. You know what? Do not get me started on this subject right now, because I'll tell you what, you're not going to like how that one ends. I'll flat out tell you, there's two people that hate in this, the Romans and the Jews. Don't get me started, because we have the proof. We're not stupid. We went through this. We went over this, and I have no problem blurting it out, but we're not going to do it here.
Let me give
Saturday.
you here's my opinion on religion, or
division.
There's two things that you have to obey here. There's two rules. Don't break anyone else's free will. Be good to your neighbor, and don't lose control of your soul. That's it. Now, Christians, Muslims, Jewish, whatever religion you study, if that studying of that religion helps you obey those simple rules, then that religion is perfect for you. You don't have to force it on anyone else, and it is the right thing for you. If you obey those rules, don't break anyone's free will, don't lose control of your soul, don't sell your soul. I believe the elites have lost control of their souls, and they're using us to create their world, because their soul gives you your passion, gives you that energy that manifests in the world. Well, these soulless creatures are controlling us and having us to create their world.
Because it wasn't their soul to sell. It's ours collectively. It's
Yes.
our soul
The
as
soul-
one.
It's a
Once they
it's a
sold their
spot-
part,
it's a
it infected us.
right. It's a piece of God within us.
But David, the ridiculous thing is, I mean, I can only speak for Greek Orthodox because that's what I was raised. But all the depictions of icons that are in front of a church have a dome, and always
Domes everywhere.
Christ is in the middle with his light body and so on. And as you know, Jason alerted us earlier on, there are so many passages in the book of Enoch, in the Bible. It's not just in Genesis, it's in the Proverbs, it's in Job, it's in the Psalms, it's in Isaiah, that tells us it's a dome. And also Os, which was that great Bible that you referred us to, Jason, a couple of shows ago. I even had a read of that, and it's in there, you know, with diagrams, even, you know, in there. So from, you know, the Greek Orthodox point of view, I always thought it was a dome flat. So flat. I mean, I never learned any differently, and that was what I saw in the icons up above in the church. So I don't know how religion kind of lost that.
Well, you know, religion got hijacked. It got hijacked, and they used it to control. It's all about control. You know, some of the things that they do in churches and temples and everything, it's insane. But you know, I believe that I'm more Christian. I've seen some things that some people that call themselves Christians do. I'm not just picking on Christians. There's just a lot that isn't very Christian. I believe in the Christ consciousness. That is just the consciousness of this world, the God consciousness. Just be aware, be good, don't trample on anyone's rights, and you know, help your neighbor. Hello, the world is great. And use this gift of this experience here to expand the mind of the creator. I mean, this is an amazing place. And it's going to hell right now. Wake up, people.
Yeah.
It's a real shithole.
Lift your vibration, everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
And we have the power. We have the power. If everybody saw this,
Exactly.
and here's the funny thing is, I woke people up to the New York event, the Boston event, the Connecticut event, all of these things, and people go right back to sleep because it doesn't affect them every day. But when you wake someone up to flat earth, they totally change, they see it, and they become warriors of truth. Okay? So that's why I'm pushing this information. People are sharing my app. You can gift it to other people. You can just link it to them. There's a share button in there. Everyone that gets the app that takes the challenge becomes a flat earther. And once they become a flat earther, they start seeing through all of these other hoaxes. They start realizing that, you know, they're controlling our mind with cartoons. They're literally controlling our mind with cartoons, right? All of the pictures of planets are cartoons. And I'm stalling because I can't find the picture I was trying to pull up seamlessly, and it's gone.
And they're dismissing history.
yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're completely disregarding it.
Just take a minute,
Cartoons.
David. It's fine.
Well, it's the same thing.
No, it's all right. Sometimes when I'm talking,
Cartoon.
it's easier. There it is. Here's one.
Your mind is infected with cartoons.
Yeah, it's amazing. These are equally cartoons. They're all cartoons. And that's how they control our mind. They have us living in fear. This is a fear satanic model. The soul lure system to steal your soul away.
And they know people are not going to do the research.
Right.
And that's where people fall into the trap of believing what they're told.
Crazy. And you know, the images of Earth, the images of planets they give us are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I showed you those frying pans. Those are better than some of the stuff that NASA shows us.
Guys, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this is a picture. Now, remember, Pluto is so far away from Earth, you can barely see the sun's like the size of a star. The spaceship that took a picture of this full Pluto happened to catch it at the perfect time when it was full. It's traveling 60,000 miles an hour, How did it get this long exposure shot, right? And why does this, I guess that's a desert, look a little bit like the dog Pluto, which was created the same year Pluto was discovered?
Oh my.
Okay, this is all satanic witchcraft, wizardry, whatever you want to call it. Nothing they show us is real. So, and it's so easy to fool us, right? Do you know your planets? Do you know your planets, Maria?
Yes, but I don't know them in the,
What
in
planet?
the order
What
in the
planet?
line
What
that
planet
I
is this?
learned
Do
at
you know what
school.
planet this is?
Oh God, no idea.
Do you guys?
Uranus? No, not Uranus.
Jupiter. Does it look like Jupiter? Is that Jupiter?
No, it doesn't look like Jupiter. Not
Well,
the
you're-
one that they showed us.
Well, it's not Jupiter. It's actually a pond with ducks in it.
Oh, I was
Okay.
gonna say, looks a bit different. Yeah, but
You guys are good.
Could be.
Most people go, that's Jupiter. You know, that's Jupiter, right?
yeah.
But again, the picture of Jupiter is a model that they took a picture of. 2014, this is the one that everyone saw. 2016, over 2 years later, they said, look, we got a picture of the northern lights. That proves that Jupiter has a magnetic core just like Earth. Okay, look at this crap. Look this crap. Am I allowed to say that? Jupiter is a gaseous planet, right? This is a hurricane bigger than Earth, they tell us. And not a single cloud has changed in 2.5 years. Not a single cloud. It's the same picture. These lazy bastards at NASA are too lazy to even create a new image. All right. Right. But meanwhile, you know, we're supposed to believe that is, Jupiter. When they showed us this, which is a time lapse over a couple of days as a satellite was approaching Jupiter, right? Look at the clouds. They're changing just over days. And the picture that I just showed you 2.5 years apart, the clouds are exactly the same. This is garbage. Garbage.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but people don't pay attention to detail. That's the thing. So they wouldn't pick that up.
I know people just want to believe. They just want to believe and they just believe. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
So guys, we have 1,225 people with us tonight.
It's nice. Here, let me show you another thing. You guys heard about the Mars lander? Then they flew the helicopter the other day, right? The drone. You guys even hear about this? They landed a rover on Mars a couple weeks ago, and then it had a drone on it that was going to fly on Mars. Well, one, the atmosphere on Mars is 1% of the atmosphere on Earth. That would be like flying a helicopter at 150,000 feet when we can't fly a helicopter to the top of Everest, okay, which is like 14,000 feet because the air is too thin. Somehow, this drone was able to fly, and they said it's because the propellers are going much faster than they had do here on Earth. I'm like, well, how come they haven't created a helicopter on Earth that does that to rescue people on the top of Everest or whatever? This is not a picture of the drone. This is the drone taking a picture of its shadow on Mars. Those blades are spinning so fast that the highest speed camera couldn't capture them. But it captured the blade shadows on the ground. And why is this darker than the blades? It's a shadow. Are the blades transparent? This is ridiculous. People will believe anything. And look, and people, oh, it's curved. It's got to be Mars. It was 16 feet in the air. Why are we seeing this curve? Why are we seeing the blades? People will believe anything. It's amazing. The only proof that we have that something landed on Mars is this. This is what they showed us during the live stream of the landing.
I've seen better video games.
In the 1980s. Okay.
I mean, I still have my Nintendo.
This is what they showed us. And all the people in the control room, the kids in schools, they had monitors in the classrooms. Kids were watching this live because this is a historic moment. They're landing another rover on Mars with a helicopter on it. Look what they're showing us. Look at this, right? And look at these people. These are the people in the control room. They're a bunch of kids straight out of space camp. Okay. Look at this. And they all got double masks on too. Right on.
And who's taking the video? I mean, what's taking the video?
And here's the other thing. They don't say that this isn't animation, but they never say that it's animation. Okay. And parachute can't even open at 50,000 feet above us. A parachute doesn't open until it gets like closer to 40,000 feet. This thing, what's opening this parachute? There's no air, right? What if the data that they were getting back said it crashed? Do they have an animation of it crashing? Okay. This is the only evidence we have that something landed on Mars, and everyone says we've got a rover on Mars. You know how you can tell it's real? Because of the high fives. They're coming. Get ready. They're gonna high five the crap out of this. All right. Look, wait a minute. It's down. Make sure. Hold on. We need some intense looks. Give us some intense looks. Get ready. Get ready. Wait. Hold your breath.
The chicken milk.
Get ready.
Chair. She's ready.
Ready? Here we go. Confirmation. Yes. High five, Jason. High five.
Yeah.
High five. Come on. Don't leave me
High
hanging.
vibes. High fives, everybody.
I can't even do it. I can't even do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna opt for the Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
Fist bumps. Fist bumps and high fives.
After they got back the press conference, I'm gonna opt for that look.
This look?
Yes, that look.
Yeah.
Just got back from the moon, and I'm gonna look like that. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, they were tired.
Sure, they were tired of bullshit.
Yeah.
Is that why Buzz Aldrin still wears 2 watches?
They're being forced to lie.
Wasn't there some footage with President Trump and one of the astronauts, and he was making some comments, and then the astronaut was looking at him quite strangely?
Yeah. Buzz Aldrin. He's like rolling his eyes. He's like, "Oh, we're going to Mars," and Buzz is like, "Oh boy,
oh yeah,
oh boy."
Yeah. That's when he introduced Space Force.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh well." See, people don't understand what Space Force is. Space Force is they're eliminating Air Force because the Air Force was created under the corporation, the United States. That's why they are the ones that are by Biden and Kamala Harris right now. You have the Marines that are protecting the president. You have the Army that's earning their way back into our good graces by taking apart all the whole cabal in D.C. because they left us during the 1878 presidential election with Rutherford B. Hayes when they made him president, and then they gave him the presidency and then the Democrats the Congress, and Army's like, we're out, we're not dealing with this. So they went to the federal because it was right after the Act of 1871. They didn't realize that the federal government was in fact the evil empire across the pond.
Space Force logo. Starfleet Command logo. This is predictive programming again. It's just to make us buy into this. What's the purpose of the Space Force? Is it for the good? Is it for the bad? I couldn't tell you, but they're mocking us. They're literally mocking us.
But they have stargates. Stargates and wormholes.
Could be.
Yep.
Could be.
The sun is actually the sun that they actually have up there. It's a solar simulator, but they actually have another one that is actually it's a Stargate. Because they have a Stargate. That's why they went into Iraq. When they went in Iraq with the Desert Shield and Desert Storm, they went in there to destroy all the antiquities. They had to destroy one of the Stargates. And
that I could get behind. All these wars, like the first thing we did in Iraq, we went right into the museums to get this information. They're hiding our history. There's history everywhere. Mud flood history, like right here in Connecticut. I found a church that has like 4 stories underground with windows looking into the dirt. I'm like, what happened here?
Yeah.
You don't build windows underground. Okay.
Yep.
But there's no mention of it. And then if you look at the construction of this thing, it's like big dome and a big tower, towers and domes. That's free energy technology, right? There was people knew how resonance worked, and this whole world was connected. I believe that the whole world was what we call the Tatarian Empire. And there was some reset that happened in the 1800s, late 1800s, and they reset the world. And the people that came out on top decided to hide the world from us.
Yep. Because if you notice, what was it? Well, this goes back to the Finger Lakes. And that whole thing, we'll go into that Saturday. We're having a big Q&A Saturday again.
Cool.
But because Kelly and I hosted a Q&A on Saturday, Dave, and it's about 5.5 hours long.
Wow.
And yeah, well, we had to do it in 3 phases, but could have kept going. But we're like, we'll just do another one next week, and it's just straight up Q&A. Everybody can ask questions, but the information that we got for all that, in case it's like this. These 2 documents right here. Now, this has nothing to do with the flat Earth, but remember how they keep on saying 23 pain, right? Would you want? Because remember when we went over what the whole their plan was? It wasn't the COVID at all. It was they were looking for the pneumonic plague. They were going to spread the pneumonic plague amongst us, right? Well, Pain 23 in this book, it's an overview of defense against the effects of chemical and biological warfare agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Pain 23. Wouldn't this is because you know what, we can even prove it with the math, and you guys are gonna be like, no, it's like, yeah. So, chapter 23, plague, right?
Plague, yeah.
And they do have the pneumonic plague listed.
Wow.
It starts with a P. It's PP, pneumonic. The P is silent. So, using math, we'll go ahead 3 chapters, right? What do you think that chapter has? Q fever.
Wow.
I mean, you can't make this up
This up.
at all.
You can't make any of this stuff up. It's too. It
I
would
mean,
be too insane. I'm sure you guys probably don't watch TV, but there's no need to watch TV, to watch movies. The world is insane, and it's better than any programming out there. Just look out the window. Just look what's going on in this world. You couldn't write content this good.
Not at all. All too good.
We're living in the Black Mirror.
Yeah, we are.
All right. What else you guys want to know?
Whatever you want to say. It's all you, my man. All you.
I like bringing up the space shuttle. You guys remember the space shuttle, right? The space shuttle, no human has ever been on the space shuttle. That external tank is a blimp filled with helium. Okay.
That's why they need the most
These
helium.
people are nowhere near this, but the editing makes it look like they're right there. Okay. They're so far away that it's this big. They can barely see it sticking out over the trees, right? But they make it look like this is the view that they have. This is not the view that they have.
Wow.
This fence would be atomized from the heat and the propulsion, 17,000 miles an hour propulsion coming out of there. The fence doesn't even wiggle.
Then you move.
It has 300 mile an hour wind will rip concrete out of the ground. It will pulverize trees. 300 miles an hour of room temperature air. That's 20,000 miles an hour of superheated thrust. So this thing goes up. Why isn't all of this smoke getting obliterated? This is a blimp. It's the reason it rolls over on its back and flies away, because the blimp is lighter than this inflated nonsense. There's nobody on there. Okay. So here's the thing. I cut this. It's going, and then about a minute or so, they say it's 30 miles down range. You can hear them at 30 miles down range. You hear the noise and everything. And then these external rockets are going to let go. And the second they let go, you hear when you see it. So watch. You can't hear the noise, but you'll hear the sound. If you just look this video up, if you just Google space shuttle launch, you'll get this video. When you see that, you hear it. If it was 20 miles downrange, not 30, you wouldn't hear that for 90 seconds after you saw it. Just like thunder and lightning, right? It would take 90 seconds for that sound to get back to you in 20 miles. Okay? But you hear it at the exact same time. You're watching a film. by NASA. And this thing's going 17,000 miles an hour, or give or take. How's this thing going sideways at 17,000 miles an hour? Okay.
Why is it going parallel with the Earth?
Wait, because it's going to go right down into the ocean. It's not even that far away, and it's moving maybe 100 miles an hour. Okay, if that. Now you have to think of the aerodynamicity of the space shuttle. It's not aerodynamic at all. If you think about like a regular jumbo jet, a 747, it's kind of bulbous. It's got a big blunt nose, and then you think about the Concorde was very pointy, and it went Mach 2, I think. Right? You guys remember the Concorde?
Yep.
But so the fastest airplane is the SR-71. This thing is like a razor blade. Couldn't even have paint on it because it gets so hot from the friction. Even though it's this aerodynamic, the friction heated it up to like 500 degrees. Okay, that's what they tell us. And the paint would come off. It goes Mach 3.2. Any faster, and it'll rip apart. I think this is one of the images where it started to get damaged from the wind hitting this razor blade edge, was starting to rip it apart at Mach 3.2. Okay. This garbage can is going to go Mach 25. Okay. Mach 25. It's going so much faster than this thing. How is that even possible? It's impossible. And if you look at the, this thing has like a PVC pipe going down the side of it. This is a balloon. This is a thruster, but the major lift is the helium. And that's it. The astronauts are in another facility in a fake cockpit where they're getting the footage of the astronauts. It's all nonsense.
And in fact, two of the astronauts from the Columbia disaster, or the Challenger disaster, one of them teaches at
Yale.
Yale.
This one teaches at Yale.
Yale.
The exact same person. I have a
She's
speech.
the same, yep.
I have a
the
speech
same name
of-
too.
Yeah, the one when she was an astronaut, she made a speech, and then as a teacher, she made a speech. Same dimple, same eyes, same teeth, same voice, same inflection, same hand motions, everything. They have the same birthday. They have the same name. So do these guys. They work for university. Most of them work for universities. They have the same name, same birthday. Now, okay, maybe NASA's fascinated with twins and only gets twins for astronauts. How come none of these twins showed up at the funeral of their siblings? You know why? Because no one has a twin and they're not dead.
So even the one that blew up in the 80s.
This is the one. This is the Challenger. This is
Yeah,
Christine
Challenger.
McCullough, right? She now works at Yale, okay, as a law professor.
Or I think McCall works at Syracuse and
Oh, yeah, that's right, Syracuse.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Syracuse because it's right in the Finger Lakes area.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah. And then
How about
and this
that?
guy has a no. This I think it was Dick Scobie. Sounds like a venereal disease, but he has a corporate. One of these guys has a corporation, and when we brought this up, they changed it on his website. It was like flying cows or something, and he has an animation of a cow flying through the air with smoke coming out of its butt, and it does the same loop that the space shuttle did. Okay. And then when we brought that up, whoosh, website went down. Okay. Yep.
That's just crazy.
There's a lot. Did you guys see this when this was in the news a month ago about this floating barge? Did you guys see this? Does that barge look like it's floating to you, Maria?
It could be.
It's an optical illusion, but all of the science shows and everything were reporting on this, and these astrophysicists, and they're talking, well, it's the atmosphere, the heat, and the refraction. They're coming up with all of this nonsense. This ship is sitting on the water. This is a wind line, okay? This is a wind line. The horizon is really here. This is just glassy water reflecting a nondescript sky. That's the horizon. This is just a breeze over the water, making a sharp wind line. It's called a wind line. This is a rock in the water. It's not a reflection of the ship. It's probably like 500 yards from that ship. And this is just glassy water. And here's the horizon out here, right? But the nonsense that they made about this in the mainstream news was insanity. And people just, the refraction, and it proves that the earth is a ball. No, it's a ship on glassy water. Whoops. There we go. Ready? I'm going to prove to you that the International Space Station is real. Okay. I'm on the space station.
I'd shoot my electrician.
I know. Look at this. Look at this. And they're always running around. Look at this. This is insanity. Nobody would do that. Nobody. Right? The space station, there's so much wrong with the space station. It's ridiculous. It's an impossibility. It
actually looks like the electrical work here in Chinatown in New York. You see all these wires in the restaurants in Chinatown hanging like that. And you think, how could this be safe?
It looks like the street wires in India.
I don't even know how that would be possible.
You gotta see the guys floating through it.
Yeah.
Put that cable on their harness.
It's that easy. And all of the agencies that kind of rule the world, they're all using a flat earth map.
Someone mentioned that President Trump had the flat earth model on his desk.
Very possible. And the White House has these domes and, in the windows. I mean, it's literally modeled after the flat earth. I love this. This is kind of like my view, like this is our world pond. And, maybe the creator has lunch here looking over the world. I don't know.
We went to Nevada and found a pizza restaurant called Flat Earth Pizza.
Flat Earth Pizza. I've seen it. Now, did anyone go in there and interview the owners or anything?
No, but I did go in and talk to them and had their pizza.
Did you ask them if they believe the earth is flat?
Yep, sure did. And the answer was yes, absolutely.
So they're probably watching right now.
Do they have t-shirts?
Wait, more importantly, was their pizza good?
Yeah, yes, it was good.
It was good.
Because that would be a catastrophe if it was horrible pizza, flat earth pizza. I'd go back to the ball.
I don't know. It'd take more than just pizza to get me back to that.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm a pizza snob though. I love a good pizza. I love a good pizza. What gets me is how people can defend the ball. The only way you can defend it is not know anything about it.
Oh, guys, don't be hard on yourselves for believing the deception. It's no different than the frog in the water that gets hot very slowly.
Yeah.
I just learned this in 2017, and it was because I was too lazy to change a YouTube channel. I was doing something, I was like, okay, I'll just let it go. And then when it was the flat earth one, I'm like, but then it stops you. You're just like,
what?
Then it clicks. You're just like,
Jason, everyone's got the same story. I refused to watch any video, but then I was forced to. And like if then like the next video came on, I'm like, wait a minute. And then the next video came on, I'm like, wait a minute. YouTube used to serve you flat earth video after flat earth video.
Yeah.
But if you guys said, Dave, send me something on, the fake moon landing, the next video would be like the NVIDIA debunking of that. The YouTube algorithms are going to do everything they can to drive you away from flat earth. But now with the app, if you go there, if you wait, the next video pops up, it's an app video. The next one that pops up is an app video. So, if you get people to watch the videos on the app, then they get another good video and another good video. And all you got to do is watch a couple. If you hit the Flat Earth documentaries button and sit down, literally turn off if you have a TV, turn off the TV for a couple nights, watch those videos. They're well done. There's a new video that just came out by Hibbler Productions. It's on a whole bunch of channels. It's called Level, the movie. Jason, you see it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's nothing really new for you, but it's really good for beginners. It's about an hour movie, and it is fantastic. It'll be like, wait a minute. And then the number one movie I say for people is A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth, 21 Questions by ODD Reality. Basically, it takes the top 21 questions that you have, gives you a 2, 3, 4 minute segment on each one, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It'll answer all, what about gravity? Boom, gravity. What about, are all the astronauts and scientists in on it? Bam, answers that. What about all the space agencies? Bam. What about sunsets? Bam. It's got everything in it. I've actually modeled my frequently asked questions after that video.
Well, if you think about it, people are like, well, why do they lie? I mean, look at how much NASA gets a day.
$65 million a day.
A day.
$65 million a day. And I did this for free. Okay? I did this for free. All right? We're getting ripped off. I want better CGI, NASA. I want better CGI.
I agree.
Oh, and I have a copy of, I guess they hacked NASA, and we have all the phone numbers, all the email addresses for everyone at NASA.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I took a lot of stuff out, but yeah, we have like the SR-71. We have all the specs for that. F-14 Tomcats, F-16 Tomcats, everything.
You know what? I wonder how they let this happen. But we found years ago, an open file server for the Himawari 8 satellite. So that's one of the proofs of people. What about the Japanese satellite that takes a picture of Earth every 15 minutes, right? And it has the accurate weather on it. Well, we found the file server for that, and it has all of the world's radar, and then it has the blue marble flat, and then it has it wrapped on a globe. So they take the blue marble, they wrap it on a globe, they wrap the radar images around it, and every 15 minutes they pop out a new one. And we could see that they even add a day-night Terminator mask, because before they had the mask, we could see all the clouds, we can see all the everything. How is that possibly a real picture if it's dark? And then they put the mask on it, and then they release the picture. We found the file server. We exposed it. I think it's still, I don't know if it's still available, but the videos exposing the whole thing are out there, and people still, refuse to look. Crazy.
People are loving this show, guys.
Thank you. Anybody new to Flat Earth, get the app, okay? It's a way to support me so I can do this full time, but it's more for you. The app is the best way to wake up to Flat Earth because of the YouTube censorship. It will save you time. And if you could spend 500 hours researching Flat Earth and you'll find 2 hours worth of good content. Okay. So if your 498 hours of wasted time are not worth $2.99, I don't know what to say. Jason's got it.
I even have it
in the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had it for a while. I'm like, and then I found you did it. I'm like,
when you have it, make sure you say yes to notifications. I know people hate notifications, but when you're a flat earther, you get the one notification a day. Basically, around 7 a.m. Eastern, you get a notification saying, "Hey, today's video is about this." And now you're like, "Oh, today's video is up." Bam! While you're having your breakfast, whatever, you watch the video and you're like, "Okay, I learned something new," or "Okay, I already knew that." Either way, it's a great way to start your day or end your day, depending on where you are on this flat plane.
Either way, somebody's learning the truth, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and if you're unsure about the app, just go read the reviews in the App Store. Besides the one guy that goes, "My phone from 1999 doesn't work with your app." Well, no, it doesn't. Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah. All right, guys, are we close to wrapping it up?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
2 hours and 11 minutes.
Can I show you guys? I'm just sending it to the Wacky Wednesday. It's from Majestic 12. I just thought we'd put that up what they say.
Go for it.
This is thank you to Jason Q here, who introduced me to this document, and I have actually ripped it apart.
I still haven't finished it.
So what was that, Jason?
I still haven't finished it. It's
So I don't know if we can get it any bigger. Otherwise, we might just have to read.
Um,
I can read it. It says if you can't understand flat Earth, you sound like chicken feed intel. The flat earthers are not saying the planet is like a coin floating out of space. They're arguing it's a co-creation matrix, a realm of experience, a quantum pop-up book. Answer: the plane of existence you are referring to is
Not associated.
not associated with the colloquial. I'm not reading this on the small ones. A colloquial understanding of the phrase "flat Earth" in any dimension higher than 3. Yet things can be perceived in being flat per se, even though that's only 2D, in which why flat Earth is a psyop. Because when they talk about the plan, like trust the plan, what a plan view is, okay? When you say trust the plan, a plan view is looking down on a 3-dimensional object. That's why when they give you that cutaway in science class, right? And they have the core, and they have like all the rings, like here's the crust and here's the magma and everything. That's the Earth. That's a flat model of the Earth. That's a true model of the Earth, but it's a plan view looking down at a 3-dimensional object because we're all 3-dimensional here. It's exactly what it is. That's what trust the plan means.
Interesting.
It's a plan view of a blueprint.
So I would like to make a shout out to Darren. Darren, happy birthday. So it is his birthday, and he does have a question for you guys about the Milky Way. He wants to talk a little bit about the Milky Way.
Milky Way, the candy bar.
I prefer Snickers, but let's go for the Milky Way.
Oh, God.
I'm game. Go for it. The Milky Way, what it is? Well, the thing is,
is that was the question? What is the Milky Way?
He wants to know a little bit more about the Milky Way.
The thing about it is the center of the Milky Way, right? That's Alcyon, right? That's our crystal sun. Now, there's a reason why we're way on the outer skirts of the Milky Way, right? About 360 trillion years ago, or 360 billion years ago, I believe, there was a fracture in the matrix, an aqueous matrix, where it parted, and then they made a Procyon phantom matrix. And what they did is that they took our Earth and everything, and they moved it to the outer parts of the galaxy, the outer parts of the Milky Way. Well, we're only held down by 3 stargates right now. And what happened was that we had to, because when we were infected, they just wanted to quarantine us. So they quarantined us out in the middle of nowhere. But because of all the wars that were here, there were electrical wars, nuclear wars. Don't think that the only wars that were here were caused by humans, by us. There were so many different factions here, so many different wars. It's not even funny. So what happened was that when we finally defeated it, what they're doing is they're pushing us back into our rightful spot into the Milky Way galaxy. That's why we're actually being moved. And once we actually are moved back into where in the Milky Way galaxy we belong for a middle drop, that's when we see a crystal sun. The crystal sun will in turn put our 97% DNA, the junk DNA, back together. That's why this vaccine is bad, because it cannot put your DNA back together because you had an operating system infected. That's why we're trying to tell people not to do this. If it infects it, you're not a product. You're not a creation of God anymore. You're a creation of man. You are a patent.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we stress this. I mean, just because, you can't go to concerts. That's so 3D. I mean, like I give it, you could teleport, telekinesis. I mean, the shit you could do that we can do, we are able to do, that we've been given like the gifts of. Why would you want to go see somebody hit a ball with a piece of wood when you could teleport to other dimensions and other galaxies?
Exactly.
Go ahead, stick around like that. I mean, that's fine. Go ahead, but
wait,
some of us want to get the hell out of
What about a guy
here.
hitting a ball with an iron club?
They can go too. I mean, we had it with golf. It's like, hell, we can go do something else. There's tons of other stuff we could do. I want to ride a tauntaun. Bucket list keeps getting bigger. Hey, why not? You know,
Crazy.
and who's moving us? There are so many factions helping us right now that it is insane. If there's too many motherships above us right now within the firmament that are protecting us, they're moving us. In fact, Jetson White, if you look up Jetson White on YouTube, he has an array of videos of all this going on. And what it is that they're on the backside and we're getting like pushed back into our rightful space. Because there's a couple things that we have here that no other extraterrestrial being has on any other planet or galaxy. Coffee, chocolate, fermented foods. Sauerkraut, coffee, and chocolate. That's why they love coming here.
Are you serious, or did you make that up?
You cannot get that anywhere else in the galaxy. Those three.
Wow.
Stock up. They'll love you to death. Just saying.
Wow.
I keep stocking up on chocolate, but Paige keeps eating.
I know, but it keeps on going away.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, even those pictures of Mars that you were showing us, David, I mean, if they showed us the real pictures of Mars, we'd see that there's, people living there. There's wars going on. There's all sorts of stuff happening there at the moment.
That's an interesting story. I'm not so sure that I have any proof of that. Like when we zoom in on Mars with our modern cameras, we see something completely different than what they tell us. This is zooming in on Mars. I think Mars is an energetic entity within our Earth system. Now that's just here within us. Now, there may be lands outside of Antarctica in the outer space that they might be calling Mars, right? We're in the Apollo system in here, and then Mars could be the sun that's out there. So the extraterrestrials are living out on Mars and the lands beyond Antarctica. If we look at what NASA shows us, and again we know that NASA's completely full of it, but their images that they give us from Mars are ridiculous. This is from the original rover, and you can tell it's real because it's got a selfie of the rover. That's like NASA's like, you can tell this is from Mars, right? But this is Greenland. It's the same piece of land, right? It's so easy to fake. Greenland, Mars, right? Greenland, Devon Island, Mars. Okay?
Just change the filter. There you go.
Yeah.
You're up to the planet.
And again, we see them faking everything. So you catch them faking one thing,
Fake it all.
They're finished. They're faking it all. That lemon I showed you at the beginning, right? That is proving. Why are they faking a floating lemon? You know what that means? We didn't go to the moon.
Who the hell has a lemon on the International Space Station anyways?
They had just gotten up there with some fresh food. The Soyuz had just shown up, and they were bragging that they had some fresh fruit.
I mean, don't they have like freeze dried shit that they use?
Yeah, but that they were saying they got it. They're this world is nothing like they tell us. You know what I love is this. This is the real Earth, a real photo, and this is the globe Earth, a fake Earth. Fake, real, right? This is a photo from a balloon at 20,000 feet. We have a video that this was taken from. This is what Zoom gives you. If anyone has Apple TV, when it goes to the screensaver, they give you shots like this. It's the most ridiculous stuff ever, and people just eat it up.
And why is that?
People want to believe.
Well, think about where they got the Apple logo from.
I know.
It was the bite of the apple from Garden of Eden. Same
that
thing.
Makes me bad that I love Apple products.
I have all Apple products here anyway, so screw it.
So we're going to hell.
No, not really. We're in hell actually. We're in the abyss.
Good point. Good point.
So any place other than this is like made it.
So everyone, those of you that are already flat earthers, spread the word. Don't be afraid. If you lose a friend, it happens, right? You lose a brother and a sister, it happens. Okay. But just offer the information, and some of them will take it. Some of them are NPCs and they'll never wake up. That's okay. That's their journey. Don't judge them. Let them have their journey. But there are people that want the information but don't know it's out there. Show them the door and ask them to come through it. And if they come through, show them more. Show them the app. Have them take the app challenge. Then it's out of your hands. You're done. And anyone that downloads that app becomes a flat earther. It's actually in the terms and agreement. If you download this, you agree that you are a flat earther and will never go back to the ball. Okay. It's the last line. All right. I don't want to scare people away.
And also one more thing about people thinking it's a sphere. You cannot see a sphere. Remember, we're in three-dimensional. Everything's a three-dimensional object. A sphere is not a three-dimensional object. There are no breaks. There's no depth to a sphere. It's impossible. You cannot look at basketball. When you look at a basketball straight down, right? What does it look like? It's round, right?
Right.
It's only a sphere when you pick it up and you realize that you're holding it, not because you're looking at it. Every time you look at it from a different perspective, it's still the same shape. It's round. Only until you touch it and get the feeling of it is that it's a sphere.
Right.
That's all. You just gotta be smarter than NASA, which isn't.
And people that think they see the curve of the earth, even if the earth was a sphere, you wouldn't see the curve. Because if you think you see the curve going like that, well, just follow that line around. And by the time you get behind you, you'd be looking down at your feet. And that's not what happens. You see, if we were on a ball, you're on the top of a ball, right? You're on the top of the ball. And let's say I could see to here. Okay. I'm not going to see down like that. I'm going to see to here. I'm going to see to here. I'm going to see all the way around at the same level, right? But we see in a circle. We see the same distance in all directions, right? That gives us a curve, and we think that's a sphere because we draw a line across it. Like, oh, there's a curve of the earth. No, that's the limit of your eyesight, right? That's how it works.
Awesome. Very good, my man. Very good, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You guys are great. Thanks so much for having me on. And anybody that has a show or knows of a show that needs we'll call it a flat smacking, but in a nice way, send me an email with the show information, put me in contact with them. Or if you have a show and you want to introduce your audience to this amazing information, life-changing information, if you want to save people's souls, save their lives, okay, or possibly save the entire earth, get me on their shows. info@theflatearthpodcast.com. Just tell me what show it is. Tell me, give me all the information, and we'll set it up and we'll do an interview. But if you're already a flat earth show, I don't want to talk to you. Okay. All right. But with some exceptions, of course. This was a great show and you guys are already flat earthers. But if you're I want to reach audiences that aren't flat earthers, right? I don't mind going on the show like this. You guys are great. A lot of people in your audience before the show started thought flat earth was stupid, but now they're flat earthers. Okay.
And the thing is, Dave, because I mentioned it a few times, and oh boy, yeah. So that's why the show was a definite that that I wanted you to be on, and we wanted you to be on as well, because there was a lot of like questionable people, because one person can only say so much, but when you bring in another person that has more to bring to it, then they're more apt to understand to another level.
Right. And for those of you watching this and reading the comments afterwards, there's a team of trolls that follow me everywhere and will comment on everyone's comment saying, I'm a scammer, so all of this stuff, just crazy stuff, but they'll never offer a single proof of the globe. Not one. Go to their channels. They're empty content channels. They're nothing. These guys are trolls that follow me around. So anyone can say anything, but you have to show proof. If you think if you think flat earth is stupid, show me one proof of the globe and I'll give you a Bitcoin. One proof, Bitcoin, right? That's how you can get some people like, hey, take the app challenge. This guy's giving away a Bitcoin. Watch this stuff. check out the frequently asked questions. And then, if you got a proof of the globe, they'll give you a Bitcoin. I'm not worried about losing a Bitcoin.
Oh, and by the way, do not bring up a globe. Don't run into your room and get a globe.
Well, if you do, anyone that has a globe, anyone has a globe, go pick it up. If the sticker didn't come off, there's a sticker on the bottom of your globe that says, "Not for educational purposes, for decorative purposes only."
Wow.
Well, I have this to say. Sit down, Jason.
Yeah.
Well done, Jason.
And then he walked off. It's like,
we walked in.
oh, I guess that settles it. I'm like,
So, would you guys stay on after we finish the show so that we can chat for a few minutes before we exit?
Sure.
okay.
And I want to thank everyone for coming in and just being such a champ. I mean, all of you just vibrated so high and you were pleasant to each other. Well, with a couple of exceptions, but we took care of that. So it was wonderful.
Yeah.
So Maria, David, Jason, thank you guys for being here.
All right.
And Rods, you did a wonderful job at doing that.
And everybody, info at the Flat Earth Podcast. If you have a show or know of a show that you think I could be on and reach some audiences, hit me up and check out the app.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I also want to thank all our listeners that were here. If it wasn't for you, then we wouldn't be having this show today. So I want to thank you all for being here.
David, we are open-minded and believe in all of that. But you presented some information I had no idea about. So that was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
From the bottom of my heart. Yeah.
Truth is enlightening. This is uplifting, vibes up. I've never felt lighter and higher in my life than when I discovered Flat Earth. Right? It takes the weight of this nonsense world that we think we live in and lifts us up. So it's a perfect fit for your show.
Yeah, it is. Okay, everyone. We'll see you all later.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock App, a dynamic new app to teach family and friends about where they actually live. The sky is a perfect clock. The sun measures the hours and days. The moon measures the weeks and months. The star constellations measure the seasons and years. 12/12 or 24-hour clock face, or go hands-free. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App with new added features. World Time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add your own or have the app change it to a new one automatically every time you use the app. Add a countdown to your next big date. Learn the truth about our world with the featured video of the day. Web button for additional flat Earth related features, from the mythical curve calculator all the way to Tartaria. While talking to friends, easily pull up pictures that expose the globe lie and shine light on the flat Earth truth. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth, and clean screen features. Simply click off the items you don't wish to see. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our flat Earth actually works.